If your body came with a user's manual, the very first chapter would be all about four crucial components. These are the absolute building blocks of you. So today, we're going to open up that manual and really understand the science of what makes us tick, starting with the biggest question of all.
I mean, really think about it. It sounds simple, right? But the answer is just fascinating. Let's forget about skin and bones for a minute. We're going to go way, way deeper, all the way down to the molecular level to see what you're fundamentally made of. So at the most basic elemental level, you're mostly oxygen. About 65% of you is oxygen, then carbon, then hydrogen. It's kind of wild to think that these simple elements, the same stuff scattered all across the universe, just combine in this perfect way to create something as complex and alive as a person.
But yeah, like the slide says, these are just the ingredients. They're like a giant pile of Lego bricks, not very useful on their own. The real magic, the part that matters, is how they get put together. They come together to form four massive essential molecules. We call them the macromolecules of life. Let's meet the first one.
First up, carbohydrates. If your body is a high-performance engine, then carbs are the premium high-octane fuel. They are your body's go-to source for quick, immediate energy.
Okay, to really get how these carbs are built, we have to start with the smallest possible piece. In chemistry, we call that single building block a monomer. For carbohydrates, that monomer is a monosaccharide, which is really just a fancy word for a single sugar molecule, like the glucose that's fueling your cells right now.
So if one little unit is a monomer, what happens when you start linking a whole bunch of them together in a chain? Well, you get a polymer. And for carbs, that polymer is called a polysaccharide. It's just a long, complex chain of those simple sugars all strung together. And this shows it perfectly. You just take one glucose molecule, add another one, and then another one, and pretty soon you've built a complex carbohydrate like starch, which is how plants store their energy. It's literally construction, just at a molecular level.
And look, carbs do way more than just give you a sugar rush. I mean, yeah, they're the immediate fuel for your cells, but our bodies also store them as something called glycogen for later. In plants, they become starch for energy, or cellulose for structure. That's the fiber in your veggies. They even form chitin, that super tough stuff that makes up the shells of insects.
All right, let's move on to our second macromolecule. Meet the lipids, which, we usually just call fats. Now, if carbs are the kindling for a fire, lipids are the big, slow-burning logs. They are all about long-term sustained energy storage. You've heard about these two all the time, right? Well, here's the simple difference. Saturated fats, like you find in butter, have these nice, straight molecular chains. They can pack together really tightly, which is why they're solid. But unsaturated fats, like olive oil, have these kinks in their chains. And those little kinks stop them from packing together so they stay liquid. It's all in the shape.
But please, don't think lipids are just for energy storage. They are absolutely essential. A special type of lipid forms the protective membrane around every single one of your cells. Others act as chemical messengers, like hormones. And of course, they provide insulation to keep us warm. Incredibly versatile molecules.
All right, time for our third macromolecule, proteins. And these guys are the true master builders. If your body is a bustling city, proteins are the entire workforce. They build, they repair, they transport, and they pretty much run everything. Now get this is one of my favorite facts. Every single one of the countless, incredibly complex proteins in your body, from your hair to your muscles to your enzymes, is built from a set of just 20 different building blocks. Only 20. Think about it like an alphabet. With just 26 letters, we can write every book imaginable. It's the exact same idea here. So what are these 20 magic building blocks? They're called amino acids. That's the monomer for proteins. Now, all 20 of them have the same basic structure, but each one has a unique little side chain called an R group. And that tiny difference is everything. It gives each amino acid its own special chemical personality. And from just those 20 amino acids, you get this unbelievable range of functions. Proteins provide structure, like the keratin that makes up your hair and nails. They act as enzymes, which speed up literally every chemical reaction in your body. They transport crucial stuff, like hemoglobin carrying oxygen in your blood. And they defend you as antibodies that fight off germs. They really are the Swiss Army knife of molecules.
And that brings us to our fourth and final macromolecule, the nucleic acids. Now, if proteins are the workers, then nucleic acids are the master blueprint. They're the complete instruction manual that tells all those workers what to build, how to build it, and when to do it.
And you've definitely heard of the two main types, DNA and RNA. The easiest way to think about it is this. DNA is the original master blueprint. It's locked away safely in the head office, holding all the genetic information in that famous double helix. RNA is like a working photocopy of just one page of that blueprint. It's a single strand that carries a specific instruction out to the construction site, telling the protein builders what to do next.
So, there you have it. We've met all 4 key players. But the crucial thing to remember is that they don't work alone. They all work together in this beautifully complex, coordinated way. It's like a symphony that creates and sustains life.
So let's just put it all together one last time. This table is basically the cheat sheet for your body's user manual. You've got your carbohydrates for quick energy, your lipids for long-term storage, your proteins, the workforce that builds and runs everything, and your nucleic acids, which hold all the instructions. That's it. That's the system.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? These 4 molecules aren't just some abstract concept from a chemistry class. They are the absolute foundation of what it means to be alive. They provide the structure, they perform all the functions, and they regulate the entire process. So the next time you sit down to eat, think about this. The food on your plate, it isn't just food. It is literally the raw material, the fuel, the building blocks, and the instructions that your body is going to use to build and rebuild you. So the real question is, what instructions are you giving your body today?